Part 1, Born Under Fire. The hidden threat of a soul that remembers. Imagine this. A child is born into a family where no one sees them. Not truly. Everyone is distracted. The house is noisy, chaotic, full of trauma passed down like heirlooms. But this child is different. Even before they can speak, they feel everything. The anger in their father's silence, the grief in their mother's smile, the spirits in the corner of the room that no one else seems to notice. And one night, while lying in bed, the child feels something watching. Not imaginary, not dreamed, real, cold silence, veil, a presence that shouldn't be there. And the child, instead of screaming, whispers, "I see you." That moment, the moment of recognition, is the beginning of the hunt. Most people think demons appear in horror stories. But for those of us who walk with purpose carved into our bones, the real horror is how early they find us. Because they already know who we are. Before we do, they sense the architecture of our soul, the frequency we carry, the codes we haven't yet activated, and the danger we pose to everything they've built in this world. We are not hunted because we are weak. We are hunted because we are remembering. And our remembrance is a direct threat to systems of control that thrive on unconsciousness. You have to understand, demons don't waste energy. They are ancient intelligences, not chaotic monsters. They don't attack randomly. They calculate. They map timelines. They scan for anomalies in the grid. And when a dark chosen one is born, the frequency sends ripples through the astral. It's like a flare in enemy territory. They know that if this soul awakens fully, the game changes. Patterns break. Contracts disintegrate. Systems collapse. And so they do what they've always done. They infiltrate early, through trauma, through shame, through abandonment, through spiritual amnesia.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
Have you ever wondered why your childhood felt like a battlefield? Why you were born into dysfunction, addiction, violence, or deep emotional neglect? It wasn't coincidence. It was strategy. Break the vessel before it can hold its light. Fragment the psyche before it remembers its design. This is the first tactic of the hunt. Early sabotage. And it works until it doesn't. Because while the trauma wounds us, it also activates us. It forces us inward. It makes us question everything. And in that questioning, we begin to feel the truth humming beneath the pain. But here's where it gets more complex. The demons don't just attack from the outside. Once the damage is done, they move inward. They become voices in our head, feelings in our body, patterns in our relationships. And because they wear the costume of our own thoughts, we don't recognize them. We think the self-hate is ours. We think the fear is ours. We think the sabotage is just who we are. But it's not. It's a program running on top of our essence, a parasite feeding on our potential. And the longer we listen, the harder it becomes to hear the true self underneath. So we grow up confused, spiritually sensitive but emotionally unstable, intuitive but unsure, powerful but powerless. And the world doesn't help. It tells us we're too much, too intense, too sensitive. It medicates what it cannot understand. And we begin to believe we're broken. But here's the twist: the pain isn't proof that something's wrong. It's proof that something ancient is trying to awaken. Demons don't haunt the weak, they haunt the dangerous. And if you've been hunted your whole life, it's because your light is more powerful than you've ever dared to believe. There's a moment in every dark chosen one's life that becomes the spiritual pivot. It doesn't happen in a church. It doesn't happen on a mountaintop. It happens in the middle of a breakdown, when everything falls apart, when the relationships dissolve, the job dies, the belief system collapses, and all that's left is you. And the voice that's been waiting, it doesn't shout, it doesn't beg, it just says, "Are you ready now?" And if you say yes, in that moment everything begins to shift. Not instantly, but permanently. That yes is the crack in the matrix. It's when the soul begins to override the program. It's when you stop reacting and start remembering. And suddenly, the hunt changes. The demons don't leave, they escalate. Because now you're not just a dormant threat, you're activating. And they will try everything to pull you back. Old lovers, old patterns, psychic attacks, shadow dreams, financial collapse, despair that feels like drowning. And this is where most turn back. Not because they're weak, but because they don't know what's really happening. Let me tell you what's really happening. You are being tested not for punishment, but for capacity. The universe is asking, can you hold your power without collapsing into fear? Can you walk through the fire without forgetting who you are? Can you love yourself even when every voice says you're unworthy? These are not rhetorical questions. They are initiations, and they are brutal. Because purpose demands purification, not moral purification. Energetic, emotional, spiritual. You cannot carry divine codes and unresolved trauma in the same vessel. One will override the other. This is why the pain is so personal, why the attacks are so specific, why the sabotage feels tailored to your exact weaknesses. Because it is. The demonic knows your blueprint, and it targets the exact cracks in your foundation. But this is also the gift, because every attack reveals an unhealed wound. Every fear reveals a forgotten truth. Every breakdown reveals where you still believe a lie. And so the hunt becomes the healing. The darkness becomes the teacher. The demon becomes the mirror. But you must choose, again and again, to stay awake, to stay in your body, to stay in truth, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. Because the pain is not the enemy. The pain is the pressure of purpose trying to break through everything that's false. And if you can sit in it, breathe in it, move through it, you will emerge with something no entity can touch. Clarity. Not the clarity of the mind. The clarity of knowing who you are without needing to explain it to anyone. So let me ask you something, not as a guru, not as a teacher, but as one who has walked this path with blood on my hands and fire in my chest. What would it take for you to stop running from the pain and start listening to what it's trying to teach you? What truth have you been avoiding because it would collapse the identity you built just to survive? What part of you still believes that you're not worthy of power unless you struggle for it? And what if that belief is the very thing that keeps the demons circling? There is a frequency in you that cannot be corrupted. A tone so ancient, so pure, that even the darkest entities cannot touch it. But to access it, you must die to everything that is not aligned with it. You must let go of the stories, the roles, the masks. You must stop performing your pain and start embodying your remembering. And that is the true exorcism, not casting something out, but becoming so whole that there is no room left for distortion to live in you. You were never meant to live a normal life. You were not born to be comfortable. You were born to be disruptive, to carry light into places where light has been outlawed, to speak truth in rooms where silence has been weaponized, to break patterns that have lived in bloodlines for centuries. And yes, that comes with pain. That comes with being hunted. But it also comes with something else. Something the demons can never take from you once you reclaim it. Authority. Part 2. The hidden contracts. How pain becomes permission and memory becomes power. There's a moment in the awakening of every dark chosen one when you realize the most dangerous agreements you ever made were not signed in blood but in silence. In the moments you let yourself shrink to survive. In the moments you smiled to stay safe. In the moments you said nothing because the truth was too expensive. These are the soul contracts demons enforce, not because you consciously agreed to serve them, but because you unconsciously gave them access. Every time you abandoned your truth to be accepted, every time you swallowed your rage to be spiritual, every time you held your light back so others wouldn't feel small, that's when the contract was sealed. Pain wasn't the enemy. Silence was. This is how the hunt deepens. It becomes less about external attack and more about internal compromise. The demon no longer needs to chase you. It just whispers softly through the voices you've inherited. Don't speak too boldly. Don't shine too brightly. Don't be too much. And because those voices sound like parents, teachers, and lovers, you believe them. You mistake programming for personality. You call fear humility. You call doubt realism. But these are not your thoughts. They are echoes of a system terrified of your full remembrance. Because the moment you stop negotiating your light, you become untouchable. So let's get brutally honest. What are the lies you've been keeping because they're more comfortable than your truth? What parts of your power have you kept dormant because they would demand a new identity if activated? What emotions have you spiritualized because feeling them would unravel the entire persona you've built? These questions are not meant to shame you. They are meant to burn through the contracts you didn't know you signed. Because if you don't choose your frequency, something else will. And it already has. The pain of being hunted isn't just about attack. It's about misunderstanding. You walk into circles of lightworkers who don't understand why your path feels heavier. You hear them say things like just raise your vibration or you're attracting this because you're not aligned. And part of you wants to believe them because it's easier. Easier to think this is your fault than to admit you were born into a spiritual war you never agreed to fight. But here's the truth. They don't understand your path because they were never built to carry what you carry. They are here to ascend. You are here to descend into darkness and bring light where none has existed for lifetimes. This is why the pain is sacred. Not because suffering makes you holy, but because every wound is a doorway. Your trauma is not a defect, it's a key. A map, a portal into the places where light abandoned humanity long ago. And you were sent not to escape them, but to transform them. That's what makes you dangerous. Not that you're powerful, but that you're willing to go where most won't. Into the generational curses, into the ancestral grief, into the collective shadows that polite spirituality avoids because they don't fit in a meditation reel. But to do this work, you must stop asking to be rescued. That's the second trap of the hunt. Spiritual dependency. The idea that someone else will clear it for you. That a guru, a healer, a guide, or a ritual can remove what only your authority can dissolve. This is not to say help is wrong, but help should never replace sovereignty. Because the more you outsource your healing, the more subtle contracts you sign that say, I can't do this alone. And demons love that frequency. It tells them there's still a vacancy where your soul should be seated. So how do we take our seat back? It begins with remembering something most won't dare to believe. You are not here to be healed. You are here to be whole. Healing implies something is broken. Wholeness says, even my pain is sacred. Healing seeks to fix. Wholeness seeks to integrate. And when you stop trying to fix yourself and start claiming every part of your story as holy ground, you rob the demonic of its leverage. Because it can't haunt what you've already made peace with. This is the essence of spiritual immunity. Not protection spells, not white light bubbles, but radical intimacy with your own shadow. When you know your rage, it can't be weaponized. When you own your shame, it can't be used against you. When you bless your trauma, it can't hold you hostage. And that's when the hunt begins to shift. The demon that once chased you starts to slow down. Not because it's gone, but because it can no longer find the frequency of fear it once fed on. But here's where the test gets harder. Because once you reach this level of embodiment, the attacks become more subtle. They come as opportunities, as compliments, as spiritual shortcuts. You'll be offered platforms, followers, influence. You'll be told you're a prophet, a chosen one, a voice for the divine. And if you haven't fully cleared your need for validation, you'll take the bait. You'll start channeling not from purity, but from performance. You'll start leading not from soul, but from ego. And the demon will not need to possess you. It will simply ride the wave of your spiritual ambition. So let's go even deeper. What part of you still wants to be special? What part of you still needs to be seen as powerful, enlightened, awakened? What part of you fears being ordinary more than being out of alignment? These are the final layers of the hunt. Because once you've taken your throne, the only way to dethrone you is to corrupt the throne itself, to make you serve the light with a hidden agenda, to turn your purpose into a performance. And that's why we must return to purity, not moral purity, but energetic integrity. Purity is not about being perfect. It's about being true. It's about asking before every word, every post, every ceremony, is this coming from the clean current of my soul or the residue of my wound? And if the answer is unclear, you pause, you go deeper. You wait until the answer is clean. Because every word you speak from distortion reinforces the contract. Every action taken from ego builds another layer the demon can hide behind. But every act of presence, every moment of honesty, every breath of truth dismantles the system from within. And so, the pain of purpose continues not as punishment, but as refinement. You are being sculpted, carved, hollowed out so that only what is eternal remains. And yes, that carving hurts. But it also makes space for the kind of light that cannot be corrupted. Not the light of the personality, the light of origin, the light of the one who came before the trauma, before the timelines, before the hunt. So I'll ask you again from the deepest place in me, are you willing to be that empty? Empty of performance, empty of pretense, empty of all the ways you've tried to earn your worth. Because only in that sacred emptiness can the fullness of purpose pour through you. And when it does, the demons will still come, but they will come not to feed. They will come to witness, not because they've surrendered, but because you have nothing left to take. Part 3, the throne of fire. When the hunted becomes the hunter of illusion, there comes a moment on this path where the pain no longer consumes you, it crowns you. It no longer drags you down into the underworld, because you've already mapped every corridor of your hell and placed a candle in each corner. The demons don't stop coming, but something in you has shifted. You're no longer afraid. You no longer ask, why me? Instead, you ask, why not me? Because you realize the pain was never random. It was refinement. It was the fire that forged your throne. And now you sit in it not to rule over others, but to govern your own frequency with unshakable clarity. This is the final inversion. The hunter becomes the hunted not because you seek revenge, but because you carry a frequency that exposes illusion. You walk into spaces and unspoken trauma begins to surface. You speak a truth and masks begin to fall. You hold presence and parasites start to panic. Not because you attack, but because your energy reminds everything false that its time is up. That's why you're hunted, not because you're broken, but because you are a walking expiration date for systems built on distortion. Let's be honest, this level of light is not glamorous. It doesn't come with applause. It comes with isolation, with misinterpretation, with projections from the very people you were sent to liberate. Because when you stop serving the matrix of spiritual performance, you stop being liked. And that's the third trap of the hunt: approval addiction. The need to be seen as good, as wise, as awakened. But when you're truly walking in purpose, you will be misunderstood. You will be called arrogant, dark, unstable, even dangerous. And you must be okay with that. Because truth, in its rawest form, offends what has learned to survive through lies. So ask yourself, beyond all your spiritual language and sacred routines, do I still need to be liked more than I need to be free? Do I still crave belonging more than I crave truth? Am I willing to lose everything that was built on a version of me that was never whole? These questions are not just philosophical. They are energetic contracts. Your answers either deepen your sovereignty or reopen the doors you fought to close, because demons don't need to break in. They wait for you to invite them back through your need to be loved by those who never saw you clearly to begin with. This is the discipline of a dark chosen one, not to be perfect, but to be clear, to know where your energy begins and ends, to know what is yours and what is not, to feel the presence of darkness and say, I see you, but I no longer serve you, and to say it with such conviction that even the ancient forces pause, because clarity is not just spiritual, it's sovereign. And sovereignty is the one vibration distortion cannot mimic. But even here at the throne you will face the final test. Not attack, not fear, but emptiness. The quiet after the war, the silence after the screaming. The space where nothing is wrong but nothing feels familiar. This is the void, the sacred pause between who you were and who you are becoming. And many turn back here. Because chaos is addictive. Conflict gives identity, but the void offers no reflection. It only offers space. And that space is where the true purpose begins to bloom. You see, we were never hunted just because of what we've survived. We are hunted because we carry something that cannot be programmed. A memory, a spark, a code. Something ancient and unaltered by time. Something that says, I was here before the fall. I remember what wholeness feels like. And that memory is contagious. That memory is power. That is the true threat we pose, not our voice, not our gifts, not our image, but our remembrance. When we remember, we disrupt. And when we disrupt, the old systems start to collapse under the weight of their own lies. So what now? What happens after the hunt? What happens after you've faced the demons, reclaimed your soul, and chosen truth over comfort again and again? You build, you create, you become the architect of a new template, not a sabor, not a guru, a mirror, a presence, a living embodiment of what happens when a soul refuses to be colonized by fear. You don't need to convince anyone. Your frequency does the work. You walk into rooms and the old energy starts to glitch. You speak, and people feel something move in their chest that hasn't moved in years. You exist, and timelines shift. This is your power, not in how loud you are, but in how unalterable you've become. The hunt failed, not because you escaped, but because you transformed the battlefield into a sanctuary. You stopped fighting and started radiating. You stopped defending and started transmitting. And now the very forces that tried to break you study you. because they don't understand how you survived, how you thrived, how you still love after everything. And that's the final weapon they never saw coming. Your heart. Not the soft heart that seeks validation, the fierce heart that chooses compassion without collapsing. The heart that says, I will not become what hurt me. The heart that walks into the ruins and still believes in resurrection. That is what makes you unstoppable. Not your ego, not your intellect, your integrity. Because demons can mimic language, they can mimic light, but they cannot fake wholeness. And when you become whole, their access ends. So here we are, at the edge of remembering. You've been hunted, you've been broken open, you've been shattered into 1,000 pieces, but not to be destroyed, to be rebuilt differently, stronger, truer, cleaner. And now the question is not why me? The question is, what do I choose to build with everything I've reclaimed? Because you are no longer just a survivor. You are a living portal, a walking prophecy, a breathing disruption to every system that told you to stay small. You are the proof that the darkness never wins when light refuses to forget itself. And now, they are no longer hunting you. They are watching you, because you are the one they couldn't break. You are the one who remembered. You are the reason the war ends.